And welcome, everyone. It's 2 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. Deputy Mayor Tom Hutchison, Chair of the Committee of Adjustment meetings. So under item number 1, as we've done, 2 p.m., call it to order. It's the April 1st, 2025 Committee of Adjustment meeting. And we do have a quorum with 4 of us here. Member Noon, Shea are away, as well as Member Townsend, but enough to keep carrying on here. So for this meeting, we're using both the audio and video. The meeting was being recorded, will be posted on the Westgrade website at www.westgrade.com. And the technology for this meeting is being managed by the Westgrade staff. Please refrain from clicking buttons throughout the meeting unless prompted. Before we continue, I'm asking Communications Coordinator, Ms. Noble, to provide an overview for those attending virtually, how they can participate. Ms. Noble, please.
Thank you. And through you, Deputy Mayor Hudson. At any point, if you get disconnected, you can dial 1-647-558-0588 and enter the ID for this meeting, which is 891-5626-2480. For members of the public, if you require any technical assistance, please send a chat message to Westgrade Communications and I will attempt to assist you.
Thank you. Item number 2 is the purpose of the meeting. So Colin Planner Smith, to please provide your comments now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of today's Committee of Adjustment meeting is to present 2 consent applications. Application B05-2025. Applicant is 579-575 Ontario Limited, operating as Can-Do Homes. And the second application, a related application, is B06-2025. Also owned by 579-575 Ontario Limited, operating as Can-Do Homes. The public meetings will allow interested members of the public the opportunity to ask questions or to offer comments regarding an application. A sign notifying the public of an application was posted on the subject property and circulated via mail to those persons within 60 meters of the properties and to prescribed agencies as required by the Planning Act. A public registry is available here in the council chambers for those attending the public meeting in person. As noted by our communications coordinator, Ashley Noble, participation in a public meeting can also be done online. Recent changes to the Planning Act restrict the right to appeal a decision of the Committee of Adjustment to prescribed persons and agencies only. Neighboring property and owners no longer have the right to appeal any decision of the Committee of Adjustment. If you wish to receive notice of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment on any applications presented today, please provide your name and mailing address to the municipality of Westgrade in writing. Thank you.
Thank you, Planner Smith. Item number 3 on the agenda is disclosure of interest, and members of the committee have anything to declare at this time. If not, of course, one should arise at any time. We can declare at that time. Seeing none, we're going to move on to number 4, which is the approval of the minutes. So we're looking for the approval of the minutes from the March the 4th, 2025 Committee of Adjustment hearing. And the recommendation would be that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the minutes of the March 4th, 2025 meeting as presented. Can I get a mover for that, please? Freckles, thank you, sir. And a seconder, please. Member Hutchinson. Okay. Any comments, questions from the committee members on the minutes that we're approving? Okay. Seeing none, we'll call vote. All those in favor, just raise your hand. So all members are in favor. There's none opposed. That motion has carried. So moving right along, we're going to get on to the one and only application before us today under item number 5. That's application number B05-2025 and B06-2025, 461 Durham Road. Your 5.1 is planning report from planning staff and Planner Smith. And please present your notes on this, including any written or verbal comments we may have received up to the start of this meeting. Planner Smith, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you mentioned, B05-2025 and B06-2025, B05-2025, B06-2025. Purpose of the applications is to sever 2 lots. Severed lot 1 will be approximately 432.7 square meters, and severed lot 2 approximately 432.7 square meters also. Also to retain approximately 806.7 square meters. I'll ask Ashley if you could please bring up the diagram on the screen. Shown on the screen in the council chambers and online is Schedule A to the applications, showing Durham Road East at the top of the page. The retained lot, as I mentioned, sitting on the west side, and the severed lot 1 and the severed lot 2. The numbers are definitely a little tough to read. The online version is certainly far better than what we're seeing here. Severed lot 1 is about 9.466 meters in width, and its depth, as you can see. And severed lot 2 would be 9.466 meters, also in width, with a retained of 17.6 meters on Durham Road West. As I mentioned, both of those lots, severed lot 1 and severed lot 2, are about 432 square meters in size. Municipal address is 461 Durham Road East. The lot is designated primary settlement area in the County of Grey official plan with a significant woodlands constraint feature on the rear of the lot. The property is zoned R1B, low density residential, and floodline with regulation limit. There's also a zoning bylaw amendment application on the same property as concurrent and will be processed in a later date. This particular case, the County Grey Planning Ecologist is of the opinion that environmental impact assessment or study is not required for the application. We circulated the application to various agencies in-house, including West Grey Public Works and West Grey Fire. West Grey Planning Department notes that there is no concerns provided the applicant complies with Article 91461 of the Building Code. The building shall be located or the building site graded so that water will not accumulate at or near the building and will not adversely affect adjacent properties. Again, the County of Grey Planning Ecologist is the opinion that there's impact statement can be waived on the property. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, the regulatory flood limit does not impact this property, although there are hazards features affecting the property. The slope is stable at this location. It's just recommended that both the Grey County OP and the zoning bylaw be updated mapping to reflect the SVCA mapping better. And overall, SVCA staff are the opinion that the application is acceptable. So the time of writing the report and uploading to the West Grey website for your review, there were no comments. Since that time, we've received one set of comments in writing and comments verbally over the phone. In terms of the written comments, I'll summarize the comments on the letter provided by a neighboring property owner. The R1B zone, which is currently zoned out as a low density residential zone, it does not permit semi-detached homes. The increased runoff from more proposed properties will cause erosion, pooling, and damage to neighboring properties. Traffic will be greatly increased if this application is proposed. There's heavy pedestrian traffic on the street, dog walkers, seniors, neighbors. Short driveways will increase street parking, making this dangerous for pedestrians. If the severance is allowed, it could triple the number of homes on the street, overwhelming the neighborhood's infrastructure and destroying its character. Proposed development threatens erosion and runoff onto my adjacent property. I have 120 feet of frontage and 6 acres that abut onto this property, on this neighboring property. My main concern is for my neighbors, and then the shedding and erosion of soil and runoff onto my property from the proposed development. There's a significant elevation drop from the street down to the property. For the last month or so with the spring runoff, there's been increased mudslides onto my property from the properties on the north side. The surface runoff from roofs, landscape, hardscape, and from driveways and patios and sump pumps from the detached houses will only make this worse for all neighbors concerned. The question is, what is the storm drainage on the application? How does this apply to my property? Because there are no swells or ditches. The 461 Durham grading is all downhill from the street to my property at the rear. Why is the committee considering this application to sever for 30-foot, 9-meter frontages and permit semi-detached homes? This is a violation against the said bylaws and zoning regulations. We as neighbors in the community, we are all governed by. The proposed severance permission to allow semi-detached homes or smaller severed lots and zoning changes must be rejected by the committee. So I mentioned we also received one phone call regarding the application with similar concerns as noted in terms of traffic on Durham Street, proposed potential issues with stormwater, people walking, so on and so forth within the area is what we have from a verbal perspective. In terms of the application, we reviewed the application versus the Planning Act RSO 1990, in particular Section 5312, powers of the committee for consents, and 5124, the Planning Act, which requires us to provide certain criteria that the application must have regard to. We looked at things such as whether or not the development is premature in the public interest, whether or not the development conforms to the official plan, the suitability of the lands for which it is to be subdivided, the number, width, location, the proposed grades and elevations of highways, and the adequacy of them, the dimensions and shapes of the proposed lots, the adequacy of school sites, the adequacy of utilities and municipal services, and any area of the land within the proposed severance that is to be conveyed for public purposes. The Planning Act requires that the Committee of Adjustment shall have regard to matters of the Planning Act. It does not mean absolute adherence to in this particular case, nor in all cases for consents. Preamble to Section 5124 makes it clear it's up to the approval authority, in this particular case, the West Grey Committee of Adjustment, to decide what is relevant to their decision. The 5124 requires you to have regard for various matters, but does not mandate conformity with an official plan or with all other policies. Overall, in terms of my review of the application versus the Planning Act, the consents do have regards to matters under Section 5124 of the Act. In terms of the Provincial Planning Statement 2024, as of October 20th, 2024, the new Provincial Planning Statement applies to all decisions in respect to the exercise of any authority that affects a planning matter. Section 3.5 of the Planning Act requires that decisions affecting planning matters shall be consistent with policy statements issued under the Act. I reviewed section or policy 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 3.6, 4.1, and 5.2 of the provincial policy statement. In particular areas that we looked at in terms of lot grading and zoning and overall. There is a lot grading plan that was submitted with the application, indicates the front yards would be graded towards Durham Street East. The interior side lot would be graded into a swale with water directed to the rear with stormwater infiltration in the rear yard. Durham Street East, with the lots would front on, is of adequate construction to handle the additional residential units, although there is currently no sidewalk at the end, this end of Durham Street East. Plan of subdivision is not necessary for the property and orderly development of the lands, as the consent process of potential registration of a consent agreement against the lands would address this requirement. The Grey County Planning Ecologist, the opinion of environmental impact study is not required. There are no hazard features that would affect the property, as noted by the Conservation Authority. The slope at the rear of the property is stable, and therefore the upper platform can be built on. Overall, I do find that the application and the consents are consistent with the policies of the provincial planning statement. Reviewed the application versus the policies of the Grey County official plan. The lot is designated primary settlement area within the Grey official plan. There is a significant wetlands constraint on the rear parts of both severed lots and the retained lot, although there is no building at all proposed within that particular area. Section 3.5 of the Grey County official plan, primary settlement areas, identifies that these areas are suitable for high intensification targets that have full municipal services. Municipalities with primary settlement areas will, in official plans, identify and plan for intensification within these areas. The development of high quality urban farm and open public spaces within these areas is also encouraged, as long as together with supporting walking and cycling for everyday activities. Section 3.5.2 of the official plan states that land use policies and development standards in areas dedicated, designated primary settlement areas will be in accordance with local official plans. In this particular case, the West Grey official plan also applies. Section 3.5.6 supports intensification, requires that new construction should occur in a manner that takes into account the existing built and physical environment and is compatible with surrounding land uses. Section 7.4 talks about significant woodlands. And again, an environmental impact study was not required in terms of impact. The semi-detached units that are proposed provide an alternative housing option to purchasers and supports the intensification direction of the Grey OP. There will be a small increase in traffic on Durham Street East. There are multiple existing driveways in the areas that do access Durham Street already. The additional units are not expected to cause any transportation issues, although, as I mentioned, there is no sidewalk at Durham Street East at this time. Water and sanitary services will be provided to the lots. Municipal waste removal and recycling services are available. The lot grading stormwater proposal was reviewed and is reasonable in terms of in regards to our review of it. It is my opinion that the consents do conform with the policies of the County of Grey official plan. Reviewed the application versus the Municipality West Grey official plan. Section D 2.3.1 states that the predominant use of lands within the residential designation shall be residential dwelling units. Types of dwelling units permitted shall include low density housing such as detached dwellings and semi-detached dwellings. The consents will have frontage on a public road that is open and maintained year-round, construction acceptable to the municipality. The lots are of size and configuration is appropriate and suitable for the location of a dwelling, driveway, etc. Cash in lieu of parkland dedication is required in this case. A consent agreement with West Grey may be required. The agreement may be required to address such specific issues as sewer and municipal water connections, lot grading, and drainage. Overall, I'm of the opinion that the consents conform to the policies of the West Gray official plan. Municipality West Gray zoning bylaw, the subject lands are zoned R1B low density residential with flood line with regulation limit. There is an associated zoning bylaw amendment application that proposes to change the zoning on Severn Lot 1, Severn Lot 2 to R2 medium desert residential to allow for the construction of a semi-detached dwelling. The current R1B low density residential zoning does not permit semi-detached dwellings. Severn Lot 1, Severn Lot 2 will meet all of the regulations of the R2 medium density residential zone. The retained lot will meet the regulations of the R1B low density residential zone. A condition requiring zoning bylaw amendment to be enforced and effective has been included in the provisional conditions of consent. Overall, is my opinion that provided a zoning bylaw amendment is approved and enforced, that the consents are consistent with the intent of the West Gray zoning bylaw. In that regard, I recommend to the Committee of Adjustment that the two recommendations as included in your report for B05 2025 and B06 2025 be approved. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Planner Smith. So that moves us to 5.2, and that's verbal comments. And in this part here, we have 5.2.1, which is the comments from the committee members. And then we will turn it over to any of the public comments, including any the applicant, any of their agents, anybody else that's in attendance. So under 5.2.1, committee members, do you have any comments or questions at this time on this application? Member Hutchinson, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, just, I think the idea of putting duplexes on this lot isn't a bad idea. The builder has done many of these infilling situations in the past in our community, and I think it's the way to go. Our province is promoting housing and trying to get as many houses into residential urban centers as much as possible. So I think this is just another way of doing it, and we've done many of these in the past, and I think we should continue on. Thank you.
Member Hutchinson. Any other committee members have any comments or statements, questions? Okay, seeing none. All right, well, that'll complete the that section of 5.2.1. Now we'll go to 5.2.2. And this is public comments. And I'm going to ask Ms. Noble if you could just see if we'll provide details to anybody that's attending virtually, how they can participate. And when you're done that, if you can just let me know if you have anybody that would like to have a comment.
Members of the public joining virtually wishing to participate in this portion of the meeting may do so in one of two ways. If you have joined via phone, press *9 to raise your hand. This will let us know that you would like to speak. Alternatively, *9 can also be used to lower your hand. If you have joined virtually, you can either raise your hand by clicking either the blue or yellow hand icon located in the bottom corner of your screen, or by sending a chat message to West Gray Communications, either stating that you would like to speak or what you would like read into the record on your behalf.
So nobody, okay. All right, so what we'll do is we'll turn it to anybody that's in attendance today. So again, this is for the agent, the applicant, anybody opposed, in favor. And what we'll do is if you have a comment or question, raise your hand. We'll get you to go to the podium, state your name for the record, and the floor will be yours. So is there anybody in attendance here today that has any comments or questions? Yes, sir. You want to come to the podium, please? And we'll have to get you to get up there. There's a gray button in the middle of the mic. You see it there on the gray button. You have to push that, sir. Yeah. Scott would ever help you possibly. Just on the box, actually. Do you see it there? Scott's helping him. There you go. There.
Good to go?
Before you, one moment, sir. Before you start, I'll just get you to state your name, if you will, for the record, and then the floor is yours for any comments you would have.
Certainly. I apologize in advance. I have some hearing aids that aren't working too well at the moment. But my name is Gerald Acquay. My spouse's name is Heather George. We are homeowners on Durham Street East on Sterrett Lane. We moved here and 3 years ago and bought a house in the town of Durham to escape the insanity of increased residential density in Toronto, specifically our residential home in the High Park, Bloor West area. This has been going on for about 10 years there. like I say, we moved out of Toronto to escape that. We're definitely not in favor of increased development on Durham East. It would completely detract from the ambiance of the street. It would increase traffic. There's ecological ramifications, as were mentioned by the member there earlier. And we have concerns that if there's an amendment and variance to the bylaw for zoning, it could set a precedent, a dangerous precedent. And from our point of view, we see this as more a developer's greed at the expense of the community residents. This is not necessary in this area of town. This is why we moved here. It's a perfect area. It has a nice balance of everything. The last thing it needs is a development of this nature, number one. Plus, number two, like I said, it could set a precedent. And we're very concerned about that. So that's our input on this. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'm going to take that, if you don't mind pushing that button there. So if you don't mind at all,
Push button?
just say button, middle grade, just, that's all right. We'll take care of it from here. Thank you. Yeah, the mayor has the control over here on his buck, but again, I'm going to take that as basically there's no question that I could take of that. I'll take that as a comment and they've received and documented, and thank you very much, sir. Is there anybody else in attendance that would have a comment on this application? Yes, go ahead, please. I'll go over here first. If I could just get you to state your name for the record, and again, the floor is yours. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Lucy Leone. I'm on Durham Road East, 469. I have a number of letters here, by the way, 13 letters opposing this proposal. So I'm here to say no to this project for many reasons that's been spoken here. I moved to this residence as a quiet, leaning on country residence, uninterested in large, it's bad enough they're going across the street to the big subdivision with 400 or 800 homes back there. It's increasing traffic, destroyed the nature over there. Deer don't know where to go, but you guys don't care about that, I'm sure. But for my mind, I want to live in, I moved here for the peace and quiet that I have. Having extra homes built in on one property is unethical. And according to the plan, I don't think it's even a valid plan. It shouldn't even be accepted. Those figures are all incorrect. So I don't know how it got this far. Anyway, I have these letters, if it means anything to anybody of opposing this. I'm sorry? You've read it. Oh, sorry. No, this, yeah, your letter. It's your letter.
I'm sorry, yeah. If you'd like to speak, sir, I'm sorry. If you'd like to speak, sir, I do need you to go to the podium just because we are recording. And, anybody that wants to review it after, no, it's fine. It just, any statements you have are very valuable and we need to record them, that's all. So you had 13 letters, you said?
Yeah,
or-
about that 13 letters. Yeah.
So we have, we could certainly entertain to hear them, or you could.
It's all signatures signed, the letter that
So
was
it's
read.
like a mini petition or something like, or is it was?
It's our opposition to this.
So was
for
there
the
a
reasons
statement?
that were
Like, we
stated.
don't need all the names, but was there a statement specific that you would like to
There's,
share with us, or?
the gentleman read it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So the staff, yeah, we can receive that with the staff.
Okay.
That's fine, and you can
Very
add
good.
that in. Do you have any other comments, Lucy? Do you have any additional comments?
What makes this residence that's they're wanting to build so important?
Well, it's an application. I can't, let's.
Right.
Here to determine, we're here to look at the severance application.
Right.
That's what this is.
Well, there you have it. I'm opposed, and so are all these people.
That's fine. And we will take that, we can receive your,
I hope
so.
Thank you.
yeah, it's fine. You can just hand them over, maybe. So. Thank you, Mayor Eccles. Okay, I'll take those letters before you, Lucy, or the, whatever. Okay, we'll get that taken care of after the meeting. Okay, thank you. All right, is there anybody else in attendance who would like to have a comment? Actually, ma'am, I think you were first and I'll acknowledge you. Well, we'll take this lady here first. Okay, go ahead and then I'll go to you.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi, my name is Pat McDowell. I live at number 453 Durham Road East. There's a strip of land that's 20 feet wide between me and this new property development. When I talked to Don Tremble a couple of years ago, he told me they were building a semi-detached house. One semi-detached unit, which was fine, because that's not going to take up a whole bunch of room. And now it turns out there's going to be 4 houses on that property. I really object to that. It's going to butt up against that piece of property next to mine, which is only 20 feet wide, which I am in the process of trying to get my hands on, so it belongs to me. Because for 15 years I've lived there thinking that that strip of land was mine. And it was only when Don told me that he was going to buy it, and I said, what do you mean buy it? And then he pointed out that this strip doesn't belong to me. And for 15 years, I have been looking after it. I hired an arborist to come in and chop down trees, and I've cut the grass and shoveled the snow, thinking it was mine. And then he told me it wasn't. So now I'm trying to fight that. But in the meantime, I object to the fact that he lied to me, telling me he was going to build, you know, a semi-detached house on that piece of property, and now he's going to build.
Ma'am, if I may. If it's pertinent to the, like, I wanted to call it out or anything, if it's regarding the actual, against the severance, that's what we're gonna focus on, not what, you know, the past was, that's all hearsay. If it's something germane to this, is what I like to keep it at. Not what you've been told in the past or anything, because that's not, we're not here to judge that. If we would, go ahead, please.
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, well, thank you. Go ahead, please.
Hi, my name's Heather George. I live just off of Durham Road East on Starrett. And I just want to reiterate what Gerald and Lucy said, that it just there's already a semi-detached house on Durham Road East, and the overflow of cars that are now parked on the street or do park on the street, especially during that snowfall we had this winter, made it dangerous for people traveling up and down Durham Road East. So, and that's already one set of town or semis, right? What they're building in the other subdivision, I think this gentleman said, it's the province's direction to increase housing. Well, they can't sell the houses that are already there. There's quite a number of them for sale, not to mention what they're building down the road. And my other thought is that semis are fine in subdivisions. I mean, I have no objection to them because they do increase densification, but on Durham Road East, it just does not look good. Like there's a nice combination of single family dwellings on Durham Road East, and I believe that's the way it should remain. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, anybody else in attendance? Yes, sir. You're up next. Please, gentlemen, go ahead. Again, state your name for the record and the floor is yours. Go ahead, please.
My name is Derek Goodchild. I live at 473 Durham Road East, which is 2 houses away, and this land abuts onto my property. I have a few questions to ask so I can understand these applications. Is that the first application, B05 2025, is pertaining to what property on this map? Can you clarify that? Is it the east or the west lot?
One moment, sir. I'll get the map up so that we can
Okay.
all look at it virtually instead of. So if you just bear with us, we'll get that technology
problem.
up for you and then we can respond to that. And we'll have Planner Smith respond to that as well. Just bear with us one moment. Which map did you have?
Okay,
sir?
so
Is this
So
map?
I'm looking at the map here, the geographical that they've got, the grading. Okay, so I'm just curious if B05 2025 is pertaining to what side? The east or the west lot?
Trying to identify which one you're looking at the map there. That's
This is
all.
the map that we all got.
Okay, let us get up on the screen here. 1 second, please. Oh, do you need a mic? Oh. Yeah, okay, no.
It's okay, I got.
So on the screen is page 1 of the planning report that's available to the committee. B05 is noted as being my own screen. B05 is noted as severed lot 1 on Schedule A. It says right there on the page 1 of the planning report. B06, which is the next page of the planning report, talks about severed lot 2.
Okay, so we can just get the map up there, if we could, please. Just get that up and then we're all looking at the same thing. How's that? There you go. This is the easiest way to look at this.
Okay, so B05 is severed lot 1.
You have to go to Mike and yes,
So it's B05 severed lot 1 on the right in the green.
that is what Planner Smith has just identified.
So
here.
this is 05. Correct?
I can't see it from here, but.
Oh, B05
Yes.
is the plan
On
for the
right-hand
severed
side,
on the green.
severed one.
Okay,
Yes,
and B06 is severed lot 2, the red one.
correct.
Okay. So on this application, I see the frontage is 27.11 meters. Okay. This is 05 I'm talking about. So this is the retained lot, I guess, correct? Because it's 27, it's 88 feet. And if you sever 122 by 2 is only 62. So I'm looking at 88 feet of frontage on this application. So does B05 2025 pertain to severed lot 2 or the reserved area on the left?
Hit your mic, sir, and I'll get a response from Planner Smith to that question. Planner Smith, sir?
The lot frontage provided by survey to the planning department is 36.576 meters in total width. The lot to date, 36.576. And it's a little tough to see on the drawings, but they are available on the internet for the drawings we uploaded. We do what we can. So 36.576 total width minus severed lot 1, 9.466 minus severed lot 2, 9.466, leaving 17.6 meters of frontage for the retained. Those are the numbers provided. And if there is an error in the report, I apologize, but those are the numbers provided. Those are the numbers on that screen in front of you.
Thank you, sir, for your clarification. Mike, go ahead, sir.
So B06 2025 pertaining to severed lot 2 says that the dimension of that lot is 17.644 meters wide. If this B06 is pertaining to lot 2, I don't see it as being 57 feet wide, which is 17.644 meters.
I will get you a response, sir. Planner Smith, go ahead, sir.
As I mentioned, the dimensions. 36.576. Sir, I'm giving you, if there's an error in the report, I apologize. But if you could take a look over here for a minute, the lot frontage, 36.576 meters, not on the report. What I'm giving you here and what I'm providing to council, to the committee. Okay, 36.576 meters minus severed lot 1, 9.466 minus lot 2, 9.466. The remainder, 17.6 meters for the retained. And again, I apologize that there's an error in the report.
Thank you.
By
Planner
the
Smith.
depth.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
I've got it very straightforward. So if you're looking at a clerical in there, anyways, that'll be adjusted, but go ahead with your next.
Just give me
question.
1 second. I need to this is a lot of numbers for me now. Could you do me a favor and calculate the 37 meters to feet for me? I'm not a meters guy. I know I'm 6 feet tall.
Well,
I don't know how tall I am in meters. Could someone? Pardon? 37.576 meters. What is that in feet? $122. Okay. Okay. Mr. Hutchison, you mentioned something in what you were saying about infill. As me being the south property, I've got the entire lot on the back end of this property. And unfortunately, this entire property is infill and it can't be backfilled because there's no retaining wall at the back. So unfortunately, it'll always be loose gravel and dirt that is in there now. In my letter that I sent, there were 4 pictures. I don't know if you can pop those up of the back of the property. It's very unstable soil and it's actually eroding my property. I'm ankle deep in mud at the very south end of this property. If I stand on the bottom right corner of Sever Lot 1, I can't see the street. If I take a picture with my camera at eye level, which is 5.6 feet, and it's a level on my camera, I'm looking right into a berm. So unfortunately, the elevations, I believe, on the grading plan could possibly be wrong. I'm not saying anything other than that, but I do see a small retaining wall on the bottom right of Severed Lot 1, and there's no other plans stating if there is going to be any sort of weeping, the foundations, the height of the wall. So this unstable ground on the backside backs onto me. I spoke to Jason at Conservation yesterday, and I've given him an invitation to come and walk on my property anytime he wants, to come and see the impact of the street runoff onto my property. This property goes directly downhill to me. So I believe, Mr. Smith, you mentioned that the Severed Lot 1 was going to have a drainage ditch on the right going to the back of the property. Again, that is flowing onto me. I am downhill, downstream from this entire road. So I see erosion every day. I walk on my 6 acres with my dog every day. I've noticed yet today on my walk, I counted over 14 new artesianal wells that are popping up. And this is not part of the meeting, from the clear cut in the subdivision across the road. So the water table is up because there is no green area, there's no growth, there's no trees, nothing absorbing any water at all on the large subdivision, which is adding to my water table rising, which will be water table rising on the property we're speaking of today. I know there will be a sub pump running on that property probably 24 hours a day, since how wet my property is. And if he's putting the water onto the surface ground, it's going to be going onto my property the entire time. So unfortunately, there needs to be a plan, if any plan. I agree with the severing of this into 2. Put on 2 single family homes like the R1B zoning is zoned for. Okay? It's simple. It's a great plan if we have 2 homes there. 4 homes is going to impact our entire neighborhood. I've done a small survey of myself, across the road from 461. I counted 8 houses to the left and 8 houses to the right. The average size lot on that frontage on the north side of the street is 89 feet, which is 27 meters. On the south side of the street, the same distance from Kincardine Road to Arthur Street, there are 16 homes. The average lot size now on those 16 homes is 88 feet. That's not including the 20 feet that Pat was talking about. So that's 26.7 meters. If we decide to clear the entire street and put semi-detached houses on these 16 lots, we would increase our population times 3 to 47 homes on each side. So unfortunately, this is overpopulation in an R1B zone on Durham Road East, which is also considered Rural Road 1 in Durham. Durham was formed in 1842. Pat's house, which is adjacent to this property, was built in 1870. There's so much heritage in this area in town. Our streetscapes are going to be changed. Pardon?
If I may, I appreciate the history. I'm really looking at drilling down on the severance itself, not the history. We appreciate that, but that's
Okay.
not what we're here to.
Okay, no problem. So actually, Lucy, I've got 2 more letters Mr. Smith, did you read my letter that I sent in yesterday or Lucy's?
Sir, please, no, just go ahead. You could just check it through me and then that gives him an option to respond. So if you have a question for Planner Smith, go ahead.
Mr. Smith, did you read my letter, Derek Goodchild? Yes, you did not read Lucy's? No.
Okay, that's why I wanted to direct it through me, sir. That's.
Okay,
how it
sorry.
works, but that's fine. So if you can.
This is my first time.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, we're all work together.
Yes.
If you just turn your mic off, I will go to Planner Smith with a response and then we'll get back.
We received one letter by email.
Okay. There you go. So you have a letter with you?
I signed this letter also from Lucy.
It's fine.
Would I like to read it for everybody who's listening on Zoom?
Yes, we could, we'll entertain that. Go ahead, please.
This is from Lucy. We are neighbors to 461 Durham Road East. We oppose the submission to committee to create severed lots for the purpose of building 2 semi-detached houses. The request is far from minor and negatively affects the overall streetscape of Durham Road East and sets a precedent that is not warranted. The granting of this application does not result in a development that is desirable to Durham Road East. That maintains a zoning R1B for single detached dwellings. The character of the neighborhood will be greatly compromised if semi-detached dwellings and the severed lots into smaller lots are permitted. These factors should be considered. Number 1 is light and privacy and views will be adversely impacted, all of which diminish the value of the streetscape and the adjoining properties and across the street. Number 2, R1B, no semi-detached dwellings. The proposed semi-detached homes will set a harmful precedent. The zoning is R1B low-density residential and allows, as per section 12.1, one single detached residential dwelling unit. R1B allows a minimum lot area of 465 meters squared, not the requested 432 meters squared. R1B allows a minimum lot frontage of 50 feet, not the requested, 15 meters, 50 feet, not the requested 9.4 meters, 30 feet. I might add, my math, that's 38% less of the required frontage for the semi-detached. Excessive water runoff from the rooftops will be directed towards the front and rear of the property, causing erosion and damaging the natural conservation area behind the property and the neighboring properties. Number 4 is traffic and parking. Increased traffic with more homes on small lots. Shorter and smaller driveways on semi-detached lots will incur increased car parking onto Durham Road East. The overflow parking on Durham Road will become dangerous to pedestrians, children, dog walkers, new mothers, and there is right now heavy pedestrian traffic on this street. I walk my dog on this street. I meet all my neighbors. Number 5, the trees. The proposed development will have a substantial impact on the trees and landscaping, both at the front and rear of the property. It's worth noting that all the trees were recently removed from the lot, leaving it noticeably barren. Trees play a crucial role in absorbing water runoff from rooftops, providing oxygen, minimizing soil erosion, and offering privacy. The absence of trees on such small lots goes against the principles of natural conservation and impacts all neighbors. The necessity is number 6. Is the increase in density and the impacts on the abutting owners and all the neighbors warranted? Clearly, we believe the proposed severance, if allowed, will ruin the feeling of Durham Road. We certainly respect an owner's right to build on their property, but only if they adhere to the existing building and zoning guidelines. In summary, the proposed severance and proposed semi-detached homes is a disregard towards current homeowners on Durham Road, and the municipality should consider protecting existing owners. This should not be a hearing of how far a builder can exceed severances in zoning, but rather how the property they own fit into a well-established community of homeowners as per current bylaws and zoning. They must adhere to the R1B bylaws. We all pay a high level of taxes in the municipality and expect our interests protected within the prescribed guidelines. For these above reasons, we recommend that the Committee of Adjustments deny the proposed severance semi-detached homes on the smaller severed lots and the zoning changes being proposed. Thank you for your consideration. Someone gave this to me on the way here. Okay?
We don't have that on.
She has 13 of these.
That's good.
And I spoke to her just before.
Yeah.
And these 13 letters are within 30-second walk of this property.
But I'm saying we don't have that on file.
Yes, Lucy has it.
We
Yes.
do have one.
She's going to put them all in.
Excuse me, if staff does not receive is what I'm saying, I will take that. And if you need a copy, we can do that after the meeting. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. So make sure that we get it remitted if we don't have it. That's all. Go ahead, sir. Anything else?
I'm sorry for taking so long. This is my first time. We're getting better. So I'm looking at the initial, this is public record. This is, on the very top of the application. This is 8 pages. This is the application for zoning of bylaw amendment and or West Gray official plan amendment. So the very top thing that the requirements checklist is pre-submission consultation is strongly recommended. And that's in red for everyone to see. Page 1, I'm over. Page 2, I don't mind. Page 3, I'm looking at the application. And at the very bottom, number 8, West Gray official plan amendment information. And it says, provide the reason for the official plan amendment. What is the proposed use for the subject lands? And it says under this, example, designate the subject lands to allow for a commercial use building, an automotive repair shop, automotive spray paint booth, and automobile body shop. This is the West Gray official plan amendment information. This was here and not here. I don't understand this wording. And underneath it says, what area does this amendment cover? Entire lot or portion of the lot? And neither one is checked. So I'm struggling with knowing what this amendment is for. There's no check mark on the bottom of this page 3 of what this is for. And it says, if official plan amendment applies only to a portion of the lot, then your drawing must include dimensions of the area. So we're missing someone hasn't striked the box. We're missing something on the plan. And then I go to the 4th page and it says we are in an R1B zone and the comment from West Gray official plan designation is residential. Mr. Hutchison, you mentioned R2 as being the new development plan. And I do know this, is that R2 bylaw is still a 50-foot frontage, not 30. So for us to try and amend the R2 law, we have another problem because it's not the regulated size lot, even for a semi-detached. And I'm looking at, so new building number 1, new building number 2, and new building number 3, NA, and that is the retained lot, I'm guessing, to the west. On the bottom, it says storm drainage, existing use is ditches and swales. Unfortunately, with this property going directly downhill from the road, there are no ditches and swales on this property. It all runs onto mine. And now the proposed is to use ditches and swales again. And unfortunately, there are no ditches and swales on this property. There is mine. All runs downhill. Those are the only comments I had on the first application and payments for that, is we're missing, someone didn't strike the box on why we're doing this existing bylaw. I'm sorry, I've made a little speech. I'm just going to read it out and then we'll be done. We're here today to voice our concerns about the proposed development on Durham Road East. This is a street with deep historical significance where some of the earliest homes in the area were established. Durham Road East is zoned R1B for a reason, to preserve its country in the town feel. Allowing this development would not only disrupt the character of the street, but it would set a precedent that could lead to even more overcrowded housing, eroding the charm and spacious living that current residents value. This is not the place for such a project. There are many other areas of town that are better suited for this type of development. The builder across the street on the north side of Durham Road developed the detached properties within the bylaws as the foot frontages range from 66 feet to 170 feet, which is 20 meters to 32 meters. Durham Road East R1B zone is 0.7 kilometers long. We're not asking for much other than to protect the heritage and the growth of our area. Ignoring the zoning regulations, we are now facing a decision that could have a lasting negative impacts on the history and future of this street and town. Allowing the severance of 30-foot frontages or 9.466 meters and with semi-detached construction would lead to the decimation of the streetscape and is in violation of R1B zoning. The sign was only posted for 1 week for the upcoming meeting today. I noticed that the sign for the next meeting on the 15th was posted today, which is good. I don't know how many days it's supposed to be before a meeting, but I do know it's up now. Many neighbors I know are unaware of this application for the required time posting has been violated. R1B zoning is low-density residential and has no semi-detached dwellings as per section 12(1). The proposed semi-detached homes will set a harmful precedent. Detached houses on a minimum 50-foot frontage, not the requested 9.4 meters. Which is 30 feet. This is 38% less of the required zoning. The excessive runoffs from the rooftops on more properties will be directed towards the front and rear of the property. You're causing erosion, pooling, and puddling, damaging the neighboring properties and natural conservation area behind this property. Traffic will be greatly increased if this precedent is set, and there will be more homes, more driveways, increased traffic, ruining the streetscape, and putting foot pedestrian traffic at risk. The proposed development will have a substantial impact on the limited number of trees at the front and rear of the property. Trees play a crucial role in absorbing water runoff from rooftops, providing oxygen, minimizing soil erosion, and offering privacy. The absence of such trees on small lots impact all neighbors. If the proposed severance would be allowed to have 9-meter frontage lots, the precedent set would allow an increase in homes by threefold. This would be too many driveways, too many cars, and too much traffic. If we look at the driveways, the semi-detached at the base of Eccles Road, the new semi-detached was put up last, maybe a year ago. There are 4 cars on one side and no cars on the other. If we have 2 semi-detached houses side by side with the same size driveways, there will always be street parking. It will almost look like a used car lot if there's 2 cars on each of those driveways. Environmental impact on my property alone is significant. I have 120 foot frontage and 6 acres that abut onto 7 neighbors, and the most southerly lot line abuts onto the Durham Conservation Area, which we know has a Saugeen River flowing right through it. My main concern is for my neighbors and the shedding and erosion of soil onto my property from this proposed development. The elevation drop from my street front of 461 Durham to the back corner of 461 Durham, which is my property, is over a 20-foot drop. The proposed plan has a partial wall with no detail provided. The type of wall, depth of footing, partial not full, height of wall. Yesterday with the runoff of spring water, it was a river of mud sliding onto my property. How is this committee going to ensure this does not happen on my property with this development, as I have never had this before, and the hardscape from 4 houses, sub pumps will make this worse? What is the storm drainage? Where is the storm drainage for this house? Is there any French drains that are going to be considered? Is there any silt fences that are going to be considered on my property? Because it is loose soil. I invite anybody from this room to come to my property and have a look. I am not saying no. Anybody can come. In my summary, the proposed severance and proposed semi-detached homes is a disregard towards current homeowners on Durham Road East, and the municipality should consider protecting existing owners within this prescribed guidelines and zoning bylaws. This proposed severance, permission to allow semi-detached homes on smaller severed lots, and zoning changes must be declined by the committee. I thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening. The one thing I did talk to you on my way here, sorry, I have another letter, Lucy. The property across the street is 108 feet wide, and the property next to it is 91 feet wide. These are 2 of the letters that you have received. This is the 3rd one right next to them. So if we put 30-foot lots across from 108 feet and 91 feet and 89 feet, this will be the smallest property on the R1B zone on Durham Road East, which is only 0.7 kilometers long. This is not needed, not warranted, and we don't respect any decision towards this going through. Thank you.
Just, yeah. No, thank you. Now, sir, before you go, do you have anything that needs to be submitted or to staff, or do you need it? Okay. Thank you. Okay, as long as the staff have it, if anything you want to remit it, that's all I'm doing right now is asking it. Now, while we're on a roll, is there anybody else that would like to speak opposed to this? And go ahead, sir. You got a final comment? Yep, go ahead, please. Got to go through. I'm sorry, I'll speak louder because I know you got hearing aids in, but again, you have to push the mic and the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Again, my name is Gerald Aquay. We're at 564 Starrett Lane. I just want to make 2 points. Again, sometimes it's easy to get lost in details, lots of numbers, et cetera, et cetera. We see 2 issues with this. Number one, there was comment made by council earlier about the need for increased residential properties in our fine country. So I'm thinking, why is Durham paying the price for Trudeau's failure of 10 years? That's not our problem. That's what Orangeville, Barrie, and Orillia is for. GTA spread, not Durham. Okay, so I have a problem with the justification of this. I think it clouds developmental greed, which is my second point. The real issue here is quality of life versus developmental greed. There's no need. Development is one thing, but when it's done at reducing the quality of life at the existing infrastructure, the existing community, the existing residents and homeowners, that's morally repugnant. And if it's done just to increase profit from a developer's point of view, that's even more morally repugnant. It's as simple as that. Quality of life versus greed. This is what this is all about. That's all I want to say. Thanks very much for listening.
And thank you, sir. Anyways, I just do want to reference that it's not specifically West Grey County, it's province OP is what we all work off. So, and that covers the entire province. Just generally speaking, it's the provincial official plan that we all work with it. So it's not specifically to Toronto or Orangeville or Kitchener. It's the entire province. So I'm just saying, no, sir. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No. Yep. No. Anyways, if we may, is there anybody else who would like to speak opposed to this before I move on to in favor? Because I think we've had a wholesome conversation on that. Now, anybody like to speak in favor of this application? I would assume somebody would like to rebuttal or respond. And again, if you could take the podium, state your name for the record, and the floor is yours. Go ahead, please.
My name is Don Trumbull. I own Can Do Homes. I'm the person that's doing this. Family's 4 generations in this area. I've done quite a bit of development, and I think anything I've done a great job at. The people that are commenting on Starrett Lane, I was the one that built Starrett Lane. So, you know, you're commenting about small frontages. Those lots were a lot smaller than that. And I think we did a good job there. And I'm a developer. Yeah, I'm in business to make money. That's what I do for a living. So, when I do stuff, I do it with a lot of pride because I live here. My kids live here. My grandkids are going to live here. So if somebody has an issue with something, I always work with them. And some of the comments, or the comment was, I did tell her I was building a semi. We're doing a semi, and that's why the next lot's left as a single. I don't know where you got the idea there's going to be four there. We're leaving the next one as a single, and there is a problem with the land. I thought I owned that land when I bought the property. You thought you owned it, so now we're going to work on it. I said I would work with you on it, but obviously you want to buy it, so we can still work with that. But the stuff in behind, we're putting a retaining wall up, and I will make sure there's no runoff. And I do apologize if my mud's running there now. I will go there immediately, and we'll put silt fence up and whatever we have to do that nothing else runs off. So we could do a retaining wall. We could do a soak away pits at the back. The water's always ran there from the property before. I think it's going to be a lot nicer when I'm done than what was there. It's funny when it was there, I heard of people saying there's raccoons, there was rats, there was everything else that come out of that property. So I cleaned it up. And we will make it right. So I will have a special meeting with you that owns the property behind, and we'll come up with an agreement that's going to make you happy. I have full respect for you, and we can do a retention. We can do a retaining pond. We can put a retaining wall up there like it shows. I can put soak away pits in to stop any real flow. There won't be no sump pumps. When you do a walkout basement, a sump pump doesn't work because your basement floor is below the grade. So there'll be no sump pumps dumping out onto the road. And as far as walking, there's a proposed sidewalk to go on the other side of the street. On that. So we will do nice houses. They aren't going to be like, you can see the stuff I built. There's already semis down the street. And as far as extra, so you're looking at what was there, one house with 2 cars. So we might go to 5 cars. So I can't see it being a tremendous more traffic to the road. So I'm trying to improve the town of Durham. I'm trying to keep our taxes at a decent rate. If there's no development, you're going to be up here next time saying, how come our taxes are so high? So I think it's going to improve Durham Road. So I don't know how, and people we had the same thing with the Sterrett Lane. Everybody was against that. Oh, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be awful. Why are we allowing that? And I explained the same thing as, look what it's going to do. It's going to be affordable or attainable housing. So your kids can afford to stay in Durham. So they don't have to rent. They can buy a house that's affordable or rental. So that's my comment. And if anybody, like I say, I would come out to anybody's property and have a meeting with you. And because I say, I've been here, our family's been here 4 generations, my wife's family, and I'm not here to wreck the town. I'm here to improve the town. So, and I think I can give you 1,000 addresses that we built new here, took houses and knocked them down and improved it, and didn't change the thing of oh, we've ruined this, we've made this. And yeah, and the subdivision up there, there's empty lots, but I don't own them, so I can't build on them. So I'm trying to find a place that I can employ. I probably employ 25 people to live in Durham, and this is a way of giving people jobs by building new houses, also keeping the, well, is it not a way of giving people jobs? Yeah, well, you commented, so that's not that it's not. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, and that's what I have.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that like to speak in favor of this? And before one moment, sir, I am going to go back to Ms. Mobley and see if anybody has joined us virtually that has any comments or questions, so we don't forget that part of the virtual aspect of the meeting. You have a closing comment, sir? Yes. But you have to go to the mic again, because that's the only way we can, get it on YouTube and share it with anybody that's virtually watching.
As you can see, I've done my homework. I do appreciate your houses you put on Sterrett Lane. Just to clarify, the 4 houses that are on Durham Road East, they all confide to the R1B zoning. Everything else behind that is rezoned. So you actually built 4 houses that were within the R1B zone. All 4 of those houses have 50-foot frontages, and they are single detached homes. I am not opposed to you building two homes to this at all. I'm giving you carte blanche to that. But if the semi-detached homes are the only things that I'm concerned about, the water runoff can be fixed and rectified. It's the semi-Ds that I do not want on our 0.7 kilometer road of low density residential. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Sure. You shut down. Thank you. Yeah, Mayor's got it. He's good. Okay, is there anybody else who would like to speak to this application specifically in front of us now? Opposed or in favor? Okay, so I'm going to close the public comment section. I am going to give the latitude to go back to committee members to have closing comments, very brief, and then we'll be going to a decision. So I'll go to Member Hutchinson. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, if I may, Chair, just like to clarify one point that one of our people mentioned about infilling. When I was talking about infilling, I'm not talking about drainage. I'm talking about taking down older houses or houses that are lesser value, whatever, and building a duplex or a triplex or whatever. That's called infilling, and that's what the province mandates, that within our urban centers, they want us to infill. They want us to build more housing within the current towns and villages. The other thing I just want to mention is that being a resident of this area, we already know that there are 2 potential subdivisions in that area. There's already one being built out now, and there's another one coming. When that happens, I don't know. But yes, It does make for a busy road. That's always been a bypass to the town of Durham, that road. The problem is as more and more houses are built in that area, it becomes more people and more cars and so on. So that's why in the future, we're going to urbanize that street, which means we're going to do sidewalks, storm sewers and curb. And that's in the works. That's not going to happen right away because obviously development has slowed down in that area. So, but eventually it will happen. There will be sidewalks, and I promoted that ever since I've been on council, is that I would like to see sidewalks since I've lived in that area for many years. So that's another thing that's up and coming. And as far as restrictions on street parking, we have winter bylaws that say you can't park in the winter time on the street. There's enough depth in this lot that eventually people shouldn't have to park in the street. Sometimes when the lots are closer or the housing's close to the road, people tend to park in the street. That shouldn't happen in this lot, I don't believe, but that's up to the builder. Just wanted to clarify that there, things have already happened in that area. It is a busy area. And I don't think that 3 or 4 more housing on that street is going to be a big factor. Because there are many, many more coming and there will be a lot more cars, a lot more people, but we want to try to alleviate as many problems as we can in the future. That's my thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hutchinson. Any other closing comments from the committee members? We'll open that up again. Member Eccles, yes, sir, go ahead.
Just one question. I'm going to go through probably to Planner Smith for clarification on this. The zoning on this street on the south side, obviously at this point in time, that's been in place since in the 90s was the last time really that the zoning on that bylaw. I know I'm putting you on the spot, David or Carl.
The current bylaw that we do work with is 2007, of course, but you're speaking how far back does it go is unknown.
Yeah.
I will say this is that Westgrave will be looking to a new bylaw at some point in time. It's not been scheduled. That new bylaw will have to include semi-detached and single detached in the same zone. Period. No two ways about it. So, where we have now where it's exclusively an ROMB, that will no longer exist. It has to go. That's a mandate that we can disagree with, possibly fight over it, but I think the writing's on the wall in terms of taking a look at certain types of housing units and how they work together. The second thing, of course, is again, council has looked at, planning council has looked at this, Westgrave council has heard about this, is the additional residential units that will be coming to our bylaws, that every house that is connected to sewer and water in Durham and Newstead will be allowed to have an apartment or a granny flat, whatever you want to call it, in its backyard as of right. So will there be changes in our landscape in our residential areas? We don't know, but we do know is that it will, under the current legislation, be as of right, requiring a building permit and the requirement to meet those things such as log grading and storm drainage at that time. So Durham and other places are going to get more infill, I guess you could say, and that's writing on the wall that none of us have any control over. The current government that's we have in Ontario is the one to put those rules in place. We see no indication that they are stepping back from that at the moment either.
If we could further to that, yeah, but it is, as you said, it's a right. It's not forcing anybody to, on an extra 6 acres they may own, that they have to put a second house on that. That would be still up to the individual from the way the legislation is being pushed right now. The other aspect of it is that I guess where the question is on that zoning. When that zoning came in, there was no municipal services on that road, the whole 0.7 kilometers. And I think that quite reasonably, the reason that we're there was an amendment at that point in time on the north side of the road years and years ago. That wasn't even the town of Durham. That only came into place, I think in 2009, 2010 maybe, when the settlement area of Durham was expanded, that was taken in and services were extended out there. So in my mind, the only reason that we're here having this discussions today is because the municipality ourselves have not updated the urban zoning on those properties. And as Mr. Smith has said, and I can see the Director Carl nodding his head, in something that prior councils didn't really want to grasp, because doing a zoning bylaw changes is very labor intensive. I think I could say that, Mr. Smith, because it'll be your labor that really looks at that from a staffing point, but it is something that it absolute, and I'm hopeful that before this term council is out, that we can get that zoning updated and include a lot of this, that I think is the way, being proactive, that we would be going. And to Mr. Smith's point, the reason that we're here is that that's the direction that everything is we're moving towards, that to be efficient and effective with the services that have been supplied in today's building and in today's residential areas. It's not estate lots that will say probably the biggest house on there, and one of the older houses is what's called the old Jemison place on the north side of the road, very palatial. I don't think we would have that today, possibly, but when that was built, it wasn't in the town of Durham either. So they are in the town. These are our urban standards that are now. And with that said, probably will be supporting the recommendation.
Thank you, Member Eccles. Did I see your hand go up? Do you have a comment? If you want to come here, please. And I have concluded that I'm going to allow this because I know it's so it's like to. No, I said I have concluded, but I will certainly allow another comment. So go ahead, please.
Yes, obviously you're going to pass this application. I find it appalling that residents move into this area for one thing, and it's so easy for the council and whoever to just change a bylaw, right? Just change a bylaw and it changed the whole landscape and we get nothing to say about it. I find that appalling. Number two, you've got all these houses going in across the street on Durham Road East. 800 homes, whatever it is that not enough? Is that not enough? Hey, do you think? And then you take out the hospital. So you bring everybody here, and I'll tell you now, people in those areas are not Durhamites. I'll bet you $1 million they're from Brampton or somewhere else. They're not from here. So those houses are affordable for only people from Toronto or Brampton. So I'm not happy. I'm appalled at this. I knew it was going to come to this because that's how it goes. We don't get to say anything about what goes on here, and you guys don't give a damn. So thanks for standing up for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that does conclude the comments. Yeah, you got the mic. It just stopped me there. Go ahead. That does conclude the comments, though, based on that. And I will remind everybody on a high level that the province is the one that provides this updates and official plan, and it takes a little bit longer to get to the municipal level, but we basically follow what the province sets, the county sets. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I have to keep the meeting going. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I just want to remind everybody, we have to understand that it's not a matter of us. It's a matter of how quickly we can respond to what we're dealt with. So anyways, I am going to get on to 5.3, and that is the decision by the committee, as we have concluded the comments. So what direction would the committee like to take with this application? And we do have the recommendation. There is two applications or two, well, as you can see there. So under BO5, that in consideration staff report BO5 2025 579 575 Ontario Limited, OA Can Do Homes, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants provisional approval to consent application BO5 2025 for the creation of a new lot as shown on Schedule A, attached to the decision and subject to the following conditions, as are listed in the agenda and have been posted publicly. The second part of the application, because there's two of them here, that in consideration of staff report BO6 2025-579 575, Ontario Limited, OA Can Do Homes, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants provisional approval to consent application BO6 2025 for the creation of a new lot as shown on Schedule A, attached this decision and subject to the following condition. Again, the conditions are all listed. I'm not going to go through them because it's pretty extensive. And that is for both, again, I'm going to say it, BO5 2025 and BO6 2025. So I'll be looking for a recommendation. Again, as well, we can take the recommendation from the planner, or I'll entertain anything else. Go ahead, clerk. Go ahead, sir.
Through you, Chair Hutchison, just to confirm, is committee looking at passing this as one motion? Or right now, the way it's broken out in the agenda is that it is two separate items to be voted on. However, if committee wants to pass them together or vote on them together, that's an option as well. If committee has concerns with one but not the other, I would ask that they be separated out so that one doesn't affect the other. But if there's no concerns, then you could pass them in one motion as opposed to two.
Thank you, Clerk Atkins-Flutter. So again, committee, do you hear that? We can put the two together, or we can split them out and do two different votes on the two different applications. So I'm going to put it to the committee, again, follow the direction of what Clerk Atkins-Flutter has provided. Go ahead, Member Hutchinson, floor is yours.
I move that we accept B05 and B06 2025 together as one, as recommended by our planner.
Okay. Clerk Atkins-Flutter, is it suitable? That's why I was pointing it out that way, so we can do two, or we can entertain it. So I do have it moved, and it's on the floor now as a mover. I'm looking for a seconder for two. Again, move the two together, BO5 2025 and BO6 2025. So look for a seconder, please. Well, so Member Forrester, you're seconding that. Do have it moved by Member Hutchison, seconded by Member Forrester. Now, any comments or questions from the committee on the recommendations? Again, joined together. I see none. I am going to call the vote then. Okay, so all those in favor to, again, support the recommendations put forward, and this is for both applications together. Call the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. I see all members that are in attendance in favor, obviously none opposed. So that motion carries and supports the recommendations. Now I'm going to go to Planner Smith under next steps, which would be 5.4. Planner Smith, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, the Planning Department will issue a notice of decision. As mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, only selected individuals and agencies are able to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. Upon the end of the appeal period, the applicant can forward and satisfy the conditions of the draft approval as you just approved. As I also mentioned, we are starting a process for the rezoning, which would be going to West Grey Planning Council at a later date scheduled for April 15th, which time they will hear a application to rezone a portion of the property from R1B to the R2 zone. Thank you.
Thank you, Planner Smith. Item number 6 on our agenda is the next meeting, and I have that marked as Tuesday, May the 6th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Again, that'll be right here in the West Grey office. Item number 7 is adjournment, and I will declare that all business on today's agenda has been completed. And I have 3:19